the Battle of Ontario, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Ottawa Senators. And by the way, I want to correct myself. The Caps are actually the biggest favorites in all of the playoffs round one. I didn't have their odds in front, but they're minus 330, so that's more
Great.
than
I
New
wish that
Jersey.
was not the case, but
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So we got Toronto at minus 170, Ottawa at plus 145. It's been 21 years since the Leafs and the Senators last crossed paths in the
that's
postseason.
insane.
So been a hot minute. I believe I'm trying to remember. Maybe that was '07. I can't do math. No, that definitely wasn't '07. I don't know. I'm not gonna do that.
No, it was pre-Ovi.
Sens took the season series 3-0. And man, oh man, boys, this is going to be a fun one. I feel like this is going to be sneaky, maybe the most entertaining one of all of the playoffs, perhaps. We got Brady Tkachuk finally making it into the postseason. We saw what he did in Four Nations. A lot of people have big expectations for him in this postseason. And the Leafs, some are saying this is the best chance in the AM34 era that the Leafs could have to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. It's kind of been a sexy pick I've seen in some
I
brackets.
don't know if that's the case. I don't know if I would say that.
So we'll break all this down, but we got to get a vibe check first. And Nick, I feel like you're smiling ear to ear right now because you're just ready to rip on this one. So I'll
This
tee you up.
this is the series I am most excited for. East, West, I don't care. Florida, Tampa, who cares at this point? I want to see these two teams absolutely beat the shit out of each other for 7 games. Like just from an entertainment point of view. Like I mean, you're gonna have two of the best Canadian markets up there just going at it nonstop. The Twitter banter is gonna be incredible. The memes are gonna be even better. And I just have a feeling this series is going to give us a little bit of nonsense, tomfoolery, maybe some ne'er-do-welling. So that's just what playoff hockey is all about to me. So I'm fired up. But I think the big thing here for Toronto is they've made the playoffs in the last 9 seasons. They have won one series in that time. Like something's got to give, guys. Like it's either time to like put up or shut up. And like, if you don't put up this year, I would like to petition that none of us have to read your bullshit for another year. I don't want to hear about any Marner contract extensions. I don't want to hear about Austin Matthews, this, that, or the other thing. Just win a playoff series. Otherwise, I don't want to hear from you until this time next season.
For me, and I know Harry said it earlier, but for me, this is by far the hardest series to pick a winner of in either conference. I keep going back and forth on this one. And it's also one of those things where, like, in March Madness, when you're making a pick and then you get all the way to the end and you realize that, like, somebody in your final four has a coin flip matchup in the round of 64. That's kind of how I feel about this because it's like, if I pick the Senators to win, but the Leafs win, the Leafs could get all the way if they do win. And then my bracket's going to be totally fucked up. You know what
Right.
I'm
It's
saying?
like an
So
8-9 March Madness pick.
yeah, it's super hard in that regard, but I'm so excited for Brady Tkachuk. Like think about it from this perspective. Last year, he got to watch his brother tear it up in the postseason, was at all those Stanley Cup Finals games with his pop. Um and as happy as I'm sure he was for Matthew, it deep down inside of Brady, he's just like, "Oh my God, I want to do that so
It's the
bad." Like
second thought that
I
goes through your brain.
Yeah, you're like that's awesome. I'm so happy for him, but when's it gonna be my turn? I want to do like it's huge little brother energy.
Yeah.
And boom, the very next season, he's chomping at the bit. So I think he's gonna come out of the floodgates, just freaking, you know, sprinting. And
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see that. I think the Leafs are gonna have their hands full, to say the least, with the Senators team.
I agree. I do think this one goes the distance. If you're picking up what I'm putting down there, I won't say who I think wins just yet, but I do think this one is going to go the distance. Yeah, I don't know. Brady Tkachuk, it's going to be awesome. I think the big thing for him is like you got to manage those, those jitters, those that level of excitement. I mean, we saw what it was like in Four Nations. You just go out there and start a ruckus, which, I absolutely loved. But in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you probably don't want to do that right off the draw, nor do I think he would do that. But you just got to manage that kind of stuff over a 7-game series as opposed to a 4-game tournament. So I think that'll be interesting to look at. Ottawa, like the thing for me that really I think gives them a little bit of an edge here is these really young mobile defensemen, and specifically Jake Sanderson. That's a player I think the Leafs are going to have a really hard time containing, especially when it comes to special teams and stuff like that. We saw what a good skater he can be. We saw what a key player he can be, especially for that American Four Nations team. So he's a guy I'm definitely going to be looking at on the Sens end. And then Tim Stützle. Let's see what you can do, man. Time to shine.
Feel like we've got some diving memes and accusations in the future for him, but if I shifted over to Toronto, we all know about the big three. We always talk about them. Anthony Stolars might be the savior of Toronto if he can pull this off. He is 8-0 in his last 8 starts coming into the playoffs. He's the hottest goaltender in the NHL at the moment. So I think that's a huge momentum boost for Toronto. There's two guys for Toronto also that I think can have a serious impact. Obviously, the big three are the main ones. Bobby McMahon, he popped off this year. He's a son of a bitch to play against. He's a 20 goal guy. He'll knock your teeth in. He throws the body. I love his game and I love what he's done for Toronto this year. And then Matthew Nyes, I mean, he's been stealing national media attention this season. Big body, scores gritty goals. Perfect playoff player in my opinion. I think the Leafs really need both those guys to make some big jumps here in the postseason. But the goaltending for me is the big thing.
If you want to talk about an over series, I expect this to be very high scoring. While both teams have some pieces on the blue line that I like, I don't love either team's defense as a whole, and I do think this will be a pretty high scoring series night in and night out.
Harry, you're going goaltending edge to Toronto. Mac, where do you stand on that?
I would give goaltending edge to Ottawa. I think Olmark is
I
the
think
best
it's a
goalie in this
wash.
series.
Yeah, I think it's a wash.
I think overall you'd say Allmark, yeah, but given just the recent history here in the last 2 months, like it's hard for me to go against that.
Yeah, I get it. You're riding the hot hand. That's fair.
Yeah.